Right.
What I want for our value dealers to do is to be able to roll up on a pool eventually, and of at least for the basic setups, go, oh, well, that's going to need a 400,000 BTU. Would you want to do?
Right.
That's going to be fine with 260, and you will get there. And with some of the things that we'll talk about today at the class or how you'll definitely get there.
Welcome to another edition of the Aloha Pools and Spas Deep Dive Podcast. I'm John Watts along with Brad Cook. And Brad, who do we have today?
Well, we have a very impromptu podcast here with TJ Redmond and Alex Santana from, did I get that right?
Yep.
From Raypak. And these guys are in here today to train our staff on everything Raypak, the ins and outs of the service, and a little bit of knowledge on the Raypak pool heater. Gas-fired heaters make your pool just the right temperature any time of the year. So, Alex, I talked to Alex yesterday. I said, how long have you been with the company? And he said, just 25 years or 24 years. So I feel like he's going to be the expert. Alex hasn't been with them quite as long, and he's the local sales rep.
It's actually TJ, the one that has been 25 years.
But that I said, I should have said TJ.
Yeah.
Flip flop.
Right. Yeah. So Alex is new, and TJ's been around for 24.
Couple minutes. 24 in September.
Yeah. Right. So I think he may know a little something about Raypak heaters. So, guys, welcome, and appreciate you coming in, sitting in on this. So tell me a little bit about your tenure at Raypak. Kind of. You probably haven't been in the workforce much over 24 years. Is that correct?
No, actually, I started in the industry. I'm actually a second generation. My dad, Tom Redmond Sr., he got into the industry first. And then so I was an industry brat for a little while, from like around 6 years old. Then from there, I'd help Dad out with stuff that was going on in the backyard, because we'd always have the opportunity to try out like different pieces of equipment or what have you.
Now, was he like a pool business or pool?
He started out with Jones Chemicals in the mid 70s, and then then he from there he went to Horner Equipment, and he was part of
Familiar.
Familiar. So he was part of their foundational their growth to those first couple stages where they really got big, and then he went off to start his own representative group. He's the reason we have titanium with heat exchangers. He brought the first titanium heat exchanger.
Really nice.
And then during that time period, I started doing summer jobs over at Horner, and then I went to work for a place called Guardian Pools down in Broward County, Florida.
Okay.
And worked there for a while. For a little bit, I was just like towards the end of my career with Guardian, which is where I got a lot of my experience with repair, service, cut my teeth on construction and remodeling.
Okay.
And for a small moment, I thought, oh, you know what? I'm tired of the pool industry. I've been growing up with it. And then I just found out, oh, you know what? It's retail.
Right. So it's retail that you didn't like.
So that like that scene in the Godfather where they're pulling me back in or what have you. So I left the industry for 364 days, not even 65.
Every time I think I'm out, you pull me right back in. Yeah.
So then Hughes Supply had gotten into the industry. So they asked my dad, where's TJ at? And then from there, the growth continued, and then I found Raypak.
Yeah, and I've heard a lot of people say that industry will pull you back in, and there's something about it once you've been in it that you can't get out of it. I don't know.
It's a wonderful industry. I mean, the grass is always greener on the other side, but it's always for as much as people want to make fun because they don't understand it, what have you. But it's always put food on the table for all of our families. So
it's
really love being here.
A little bit of a thankless job in a sense that it's a hard, it's a down in the trenches kind of deal. Even no matter what part of it you're in, you're never looking at a penthouse looking out. But
we're still joking when we go to the Hampton Inn. Oh, what floor are you in? Oh, you're on the you got the penthouse.
Nice, the penthouse,
fourth floor.
Right. Yeah, and for me, every spring I would be on a car. I know I was still going through school, but I would be on a car lot. Selling cars, and every spring when I started smelling spring and summer, I had to get out of there. I had to shake the tie and get out
nice.
Get in the dirt. Yeah. So your years in Raypak, so 20-something years, you had to have gone through several positions in there. Is that correct?
That's correct. They hired me first as a sales assistant to get me into the door because I was about to leave the industry again, and so they would no, where are you going? So sales assistant. together we did so well down in the area that I was assisting at that they actually offered me. They actually split the state up back then, and we only had 2 sales guys in the state of Florida.
Okay.
So that's when they split the state up into 3, and I worked Central and Northeast Florida. And then over the years, I've had the ability and the opportunity to work with Puerto Rico. I was the national I don't want to say expert specialist for heat pumps. Then I worked with the commercial division for a couple of years, which was fantastic. And now here we are. I'm the regional service and training manager for the Southeast U.S.
Nice,
loving it.
Nice. Well, good. I'm glad to hear that. So, what is one of the most common questions that's asked of you from technicians that are needing help?
I've got this customer. They the pool is ... gallons. How long will it take to heat up?
There you go.
So and it's always a loaded question. We can definitely ballpark them because I don't want to turn everything into like a science project. But go ahead.
Yeah, we were talking.
We were
about
actually
this
just talking about this. Yeah,
because we were looking at a bunch of commonly asked questions, and I think it might have been regarding heat pumps, but. The question was how long does it take my pool to heat up? And I said, John, I don't know that we can answer that on a podcast, but now we got you. But
I said we could spitball it and give a
because
spectrum.
I said, all right, so what's the wind? How much wind is blowing? Because wind will just take the life out of the
100%.
Yeah, and then
that
that's
blows.
just one factor. What's the ambient temperature? I didn't hear what you said.
You said where it's the wind, and I said, well, that blows.
Oh yeah,
It takes
exactly.
the wind
Well,
over.
and it does.
There's a drum set over here. We just need one more person to do the oh, there you go.
Well, there's one right here.
Thanks, Bob.
He's got that. He's got that.
I got all that.
Control and the crowd and crowd noise and everything. So,
but you're attacking it fantastically because that's the thing. And I always tell folks after I go, okay, so now that you know all the things that go into it, please don't ever come to me back again with, hey, it's this many gallons. What are we looking at? Because you hit the nail right on the head. The most important number that we're actually focused on is the surface area of the pool because that's the big hole at the top that the heat is just racing to get out of there.
Yeah,
and then you hit the nail on the head where the lower the ambient temperature, the faster it leaves, the more wind.
See, I've had a guy, an engineer say, an engineer really, but saying, I want to insulate the walls on my pool, and there is heat loss coming out of the walls because I've felt it on my patio before. There is, but addressing the top of the water. I mean, what's the difference between the heat loss going out and down than up?
It's definitely something to be considered. You hit the nail right on the head. You felt it with your feet. The only time that it ever becomes a factor to where, because you've got basically 3 levels of measuring. You've got like your static, your quickie. Those are either your sizing wheels that we were famous for, or like a sheet on a piece of paper. Hey, how big is your pool?
Right.
But the problem is that never takes into account, and we were talking about this before. It never takes into account that they've got the Bonvoy rockfall, waterfall behind them, or the fact that they're on the ocean. And then every good sizing is actually a product of 3 main components. So it's where the pool's located, geographical, and also where is it, golf course, ocean, what have you.
Right.
Of course, the pool itself, its size, whatever toys it has, the rockfall, the fountains,
Right.
and then the one that a lot of folks miss, and it's a third, is the customer's expectations. Okay, so the difference between someone who wants to just take the chill out of the water and is only worried about being able to swim a small amount of time,
right,
versus the folks that want to be able to swim in February when there's snow on the ground. 2 completely different setups as far as your BT loss.
It depends on how they feel as well.
So exactly.
Yeah, for sure. And well, it's just like what you said. How long does it take to heat my pool? That's what is that? What's the temperature starting at?
Right.
And then what's your end game? What do you want it to be 95 degrees or is 80 okay? So,
exactly. And when. So what I've done and what Raypak's done, because Raypak has a sizing program on www.raypak.com. I've got one that I do a little bit more old school, just based on all the things that I've learned and things that the dad and I have done together. And what I do, I've put together like what's called an easy sizing checklist.
Okay.
And it's no different than it's taco night and you got to go to Publix or Aldi or Food Line, to get all the stuff that you need for taco night. It's just all the stuff that we need to know in order to put this good sizing together.
Okay.
Because if you try to get it done over the phone or what have you, you're just gonna They're just going to glass out on you.
Right.
And at the end of the day, we want them to be happy, and we want to make that sale, right?
Right.
So we want to both win. We want you to be happy with the water. We want to be the ones to sell you the product. So I've come up with a couple of ways to where we're going to get our information, but we're also going to do it to where you're like, oh, that was easy.
Well, what are some of those things?
So surface area is the first question you'll see on there. Actually, before that, if we're replacing a heater, so let's start there. If we're replacing a heater that's already there, they'll always ask you, oh, is this the right heater I have you? And again, customer expectations. We'll ask them, based on your expectations before the unit started falling apart, was it doing the job? And if they're just like, you know what? Yeah, we were happy. Easy peasy. Now, what was the BTU input of that unit? And done deal.
Yeah.
Not happy. Then we're going to go to the longer list of questions. Would be the surface area. Gallonage is important, but it's the second most important. And then what you were talking about, the temperature you want to keep it, and then what's the lowest temperature you think you'll be swimming at as far as outdoor. And we get into wind, what toys you have. Do you have any expectations as far as how quickly it heats up from, like, let's say 70? So there's a few things that I also asked to kind of
And
get
then
into.
you can get into the what we call the hybrid system as well. And if you want to get gas plus a heat pump, that could be even better for both of us.
I've even thought about that for my own personal use. Actually, though, I'm currently doing a heat pump because I have an automatic cover and all of that, and so it works for our use. But when I was talking to John about this, we were asking like each other, like what would work, and I ended up saying, okay, it depends on all of these factors here, but I don't want to put a video out where we don't land somewhere. So because there's a lot of these questions being asked on Facebook, like, will my 266 kBTU heater heat my 15 by 30 pool?
Right.
And the long answer is what we've been saying.
Right.
But if we had to land somewhere, and let's just say it's spring in the Mid-South and Midwest, the areas that we cover, and the ambient temperature is 60 degrees, the April showers, I'm trying to think, the March winds have gone, the April showers are now
the May flowers are growing.
Now, and it's early May, and he's still got that chill. I'm trying to land somewhere, right? And it's.
I think I know where you're going.
But the water's 60 degrees, and I want it to be 80 degrees.
Right.
So
I think the best bet for your particular area, for instance, like all the light touches for Aloha, as far as in those particular, like, have you ever rolled up on a pool? And I know, Alex, you've done this. We rolled up on a pool, and you know right away, oh, well, this pool's going to take a horse and a half pump, or this pool's every bit of a 200 square foot cartridge filter, what have you.
Right.
What I want for our value dealers to do is to be able to roll up on a pool eventually, and at least for the basic setups, go, oh, well, that's going to need a 400,000 BTU. Would you want to do?
Right.
That's going to be fine with 266, and you will get there. And with some of the things that we'll talk about today at the class, or how you'll definitely get there. And then what you can do is, I'm not a big fan of them, but then you could create like a quickie chart. Hey, for our average customer, for the average Aloha customer, and you've got this kind of pool, and this is what you want to do. That's your size unit. And then just allow for the gray area to take place.
Right. There was a time when all we sold was a 400,000 BTU heater because it heated it up quicker. And the theory behind that is that it was the most efficient in time because it heated up quicker and it wouldn't sit there and work. But I don't really know if that was the case. But also,
I'm going to take you on the road with me because you're saying a lot of beautiful things.
30 years ago, 30 years ago, the price of a heater was kind of out of range for the average person. Now it's not, for whatever reason, with finances or whatever. But then, so once you get into that price range, how much more is it to go up to the next level or the next level? And
where really do diminishing returns start?
Yeah,
exactly.
And so, I don't know the higher you get. I mean, above the residential size of 400,000 BTU, I don't know what the diminishing returns really truly are. Talk to us about that a little bit.
I mean, you hit the nail right on the head. I mean, if in an ideal world, if we had the ability, you'd basically be just selling the biggest gas heater you have and the biggest heat pump that you have,
right?
And your average residential setting, because no one's ever going to pick up the phone and go, Okay, this pool heated up too quickly.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And the way for as much science that goes into and all the wonderful work that our engineers do back in California and Nuevo Laredo, as far as developing these products. At the end of the day, your sizing formula is stupid easy. Okay, it's the amount of BTUs that you need, and we got here because of all the cool questions that we asked the customer.
Right.
The three part formula as far as that. Then it's the amount of BTUs you're putting in. All right. And then that number divided into the amount of BTUs you need is how many hours it's going to run.
Right.
Okay. And then the more that you bring that number down, the less money you're actually spending on gas or electricity.
Right.
So that's where it's at. But then you brought up a fantastic point. As far as the diminishing returns, what we usually end up doing is we usually end up keeping people out of hot water. You can use that. You can
How about that? That's not his
we
first
got
day.
a cowbell sound too. But as far as the bigger pools, like the commercial gigs, it's just like, oh, we only got enough in our budget for 400. Well, you're gonna buy this 400 and send it to its death early.
Oh, yeah.
Because
I know what you
because
mean.
for instance, like with a gas heater, if you're running that more than 7 to 8 hours a day, it's gonna
ages it.
exactly.
Yeah.
And you're gonna spend a deluxe amount of money on trying to keep this poor thing trying to keep it up. So a lot of focus is the people who have the larger than average pool, the commercial gigs. Where have you wanted to say something? I'm sorry.
Oh no, I like the word deluxe.
Deluxe.
The deluxe amount of money.
Exactly.
Well, okay.
People
So,
seem to be hell bent on
That's DJ talking right there. Yeah.
but that 7 or 8 hours a day, is that proportionate? Is that because just the heater has so much life, or is it the continuous work of the heater in a given day?
It's going to be 7
needs
to
a
8 hours
rest?
total. So because I mean, how does a heater normally work? It's just like, oh, we
Heats
fell a
it up.
couple degrees.
Yeah.
She runs for 20 minutes,
Right.
an hour, and so it's going to be cumulative over a 24-hour period. The reason that we're focused on that is because nobody, and I mean nobody, like tomorrow, God forbid, we go to work for
Right.
one of the other folks. The way I size will always be the same, even if I end up with a different logo on my shirt tomorrow.
Right.
Because no one can, you can't deny physics. You can't run away from physics, and you can't run away from metal fatigue, plastic fatigue.
Right.
So, and it's good for the equipment, and also when you're trying to get this done, and everyone only used the word efficiency, sometimes that gets used in the place of effectiveness. You're trying to get a job done, but you want to get it done right. Like heat pumps. You can run the wheels off of a heat pump. It's not that big of a deal.
Right.
But we still focus on trying to keep it from 12 hours or less, because if you're running that unit 18 hours a day, you had an opportunity here to bring that electrical cost down. What are you doing?
And I think on a heat pump, if you're running it that frequently, does it have a better chance of freezing up, because that mean, or
a lot more goes into that, but you definitely have a better chance of just spinning your wheels like we were doing with the gas heater. Whereas if someone would have sat down with them and find out, because like Alex was leaning into that, you got your first set of questions that have to do nothing with math. Okay. You want to sit down with that customer and talk to them about what's your lifestyle. You guys, by the time you get home, by the time the margarita stops spinning,
2 hours.
You want to be in that hot body of water. Does someone swim every day for the swim team? You got like a back problem. These are the type of questions to where you're going to develop the idea of whether or not you need a Trans Am or a Honda. Right. So the first thing that I do, if we're starting from scratch, is to decide whether or not am I dealing with a Trans Am or a Honda family. But the only perfect setup is what Alex was talking about.
He's been saying this for several years, because the Trans Am is so am I buying an old heater that's been restored?
Someday when I get time and money, a '79 Trans Am will be rebuilt for my driveway. But until then, Matchbox is fine. But
back in what TJ is saying, on top of that, with the heat pump, you have also the option of cool.
Yeah,
so
I know what you mean.
During the cold winter, I mean, you just use the gas heater. You can keep the temperature with your heat pump, and then during the summer, this thing is too cold, too hot. I'm sorry, yeah. I want it to have it cold. Just crank it down, and you're gonna have whatever temperature you want, obviously within its limits, but you're going to be fine there.
100%. I'm a huge fan of heat and cool pumps as well, because there's nothing worse than it being 98 on a July 4th weekend and your water's 95.
Yeah.
That's
so
how refreshing is that.
Yeah,
so people don't realize that. They
3 degrees.
They say, well, you can't make the water too hot for me. Well, you can make the water too hot for me, because 86 is on a 98 degree day, 86 feels perfect. You know,
Mhm.
And that's
to me,
another
so,
question that you need to ask the customer. What's the right temperature for you? Because it might be 86 for you, but for him might
100%.
be 70 or 98. You know what I mean? It
Oh,
changed for
exactly.
each person.
Exactly. So I'll ask you guys, what other questions do you think customers are out there wondering, wanting answers to about heaters, heat pumps, or whatever?
I think once they get past whatever you're quoting them as far as the price and the labor to put it in and to put in the pad and the valves and is that like how much is it going to cost me on a regular basis?
Right.
Yep.
When can I turn this thing on? How long can I expect for that? And that's
Right.
a lot of that is all going back to when we did the sizing. But like if we did the sizing for you or you did the sizing on raypak.com, you could also type in the numbers that they spend on electricity
Yeah.
or what they pay per gallon for propane, what have you.
Right.
And kind of put
I
together
think
a
my
price.
first two questions are: what's it going to cost to put a heater, and then how much is it going to cost me to
Exactly.
run it?
Right.
100%.
Just a month. What's my average monthly cost of a heater in
And
a
you wanna-
pool?
And you want to be real with them, but also you don't want to scare the
Oh,
heck out of
exactly.
them. So you want to put it in manageable numbers and go, kind of like the cost of a cup of coffee, people.
Right.
Go ahead.
Yeah. No, I was going to say too. I've had over the years had several people that say, well, I need a gas heater because I'm going to run this pool year round. And so what ends up happening is, especially in this part of the world, you can lose 4 or 5 or 6 inches of water a day heating your pool in the super cold weather. If it's sitting outside, a little bit of wind blowing,
It's just
and
that steam coming up.
There's a nice lady who was using their pool for therapy outside on 30-degree days, 28-degree days, which freaks me out because, when the pump goes out or the electricity goes out,
Right.
and there's that heat exchanger just ready. The great thing about a heat exchanger is it exchanges heat very well, but it also exchanges cold very well. So it is the absolute first thing to freeze up. So that freaks me out when people say, "Yeah, I want it year round," but also I don't think they realize that they're going to need a water hose trickling in it or an autofill, and the autofill is going to be running all the time, and your water is going to get out of balance. I mean, it's going to be a constant battle.
It
to
takes
do
a little
that.
bit.
It's
It
just
takes a
not
little bit more
very-
work to be able to pull that off. During the colder months and
in this part of the world, it just doesn't seem
talking about
realistic.
it.
I mean,
I always try
seems
to.
like the realistic thing would be like if you want to use it year round, then build something around it and above it, and
It is.
make it an inside
It
pool.
is. And which is a totally different podcast because then you're dealing with humidity and it's taking the heat from the air and sticking it back into the pool.
Interesting.
So
yeah.
and we've done that.
Just like anything else, like whether they're heating a spa, whether they're heating a certain size pool, or whether the conditions are, you just let them know there's almost nothing we can't do. If you've got the money and you've got the space, there's nothing we can't do. But have you thought about this, that, or the other? It's like the folks that want to swim, in 95-degree water in the middle of February. When you're buying heater, it's a lot like buying a car. It's like when you're buying a car, it's just like, oh man, I'm gonna go with the leather seats and the moon roof and all this type of stuff. And then they push that little piece of paper across the table. You look at that monthly number and you go, cloth seats aren't bad.
Yeah.
Exactly.
That's a
Who
little bit
needs to see the moon while you're driving?
this. I'm sleeping.
Push that little gas bill across the table.
So that's what it is. It's like
Exactly.
they want to do this, that, or the other, and then you show them, okay, no problem. This is the amount of BTs it's going to take. This is the heating package you'll need. It's just like, the kids only come during Easter. It's like,
It's the monthly cost. Well, the good thing about that I do like about that a gas fired heater is that you can use it in say Thanksgiving or Christmas. Because a lot of times it'll be cold the week before Thanksgiving, and it's warm on Thanksgiving. And if somebody is inclined to get in the pool, the gas fired heater will push
and that makes you
shoot it right up.
That makes you a Trans Am customer. You know what I'm saying? But you've got customers out there to where, because if you sell one if you sell a Trans Am to a Honda family, they're going to get that first gas bill, and they're never going to fire it up again. And it sounds overly dramatic, but Alex and I have both been to jobs to where it's just like, y'all run this heater at all?
I'm struggling so much with it. Can we say Corvette?
Well, sure, man.
It's funny. I've owned a Trans Am
Which
and
car
a
do you
Honda.
like? And we can use
And my
that one.
Honda was so much nicer than my, I was like, I'm thinking dependability. I'm thinking,
I can't get parts. I gotta go to junkyard.
The main thing for a Trans Am or a Corvette customer or a Porsche is 0 to 60, right? So they want to get there. Now, nobody likes to pay at the pump, especially right now.
Yeah,
But it's not going to stop them from enjoying the vehicle. And so those are your gas heater folks.
Yeah.
It's just like, you know what? Yeah, it's gonna be lame. But I gotta be swimming and Easter, come hell or high water.
That's
I'm
right.
gonna be swimming.
Well,
So
you know what? I appreciate you coming on here. And I know we could probably go on and on for a long time, but I know you've got a training to get into. We got eager students out there ready to learn. And yeah, if
we could have had them just come in, sit on the floor, and we could have
discuss Zeppelin lyrics and margarita recipes.
Read books.
Yeah. So, gentlemen, I appreciate you guys coming on. I'll let John close us out here. And it was very informative. I appreciate it.
Thanks so much for having us.
And with that, we really appreciate you guys tuning in for yet another Aloha Pools and Spas Deep Dive podcast. And don't forget to like and subscribe. I should have said all this at the very beginning. If you're still with us, like, subscribe, hit that little thumbs up so you get the notifications, all that. And
ask questions down below as well.
I was getting there. I said,
I'm so
and
sorry.
put your questions down below. That's all good. It's all right. But most of all, what we say every time is
dive safely.